Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Highest Self Love Podcast. I'm so excited to be here. Of course, I want to share with you a story that recently happened to me, and I think you're going to find it really interesting. I can't say I'm excited to share because it's a really, oh my God, well, it involves jury duty. So decide that for yourself, right? But I do think that it's a very interesting episode, a very interesting thought process that I had, and just kind of like one of those concepts that we all try to learn. It kind of just clicked for me in that moment while I was there. And so I want to share it because I do think that it's going to be something that you're able to take a lot away from. And maybe you'll be able to learn from my experience and plug that into your own experiences through life. So let's get started. Okay, so I think this is going to be a very interesting episode about my experience at jury duty, but what it taught me about universal laws. And by the way, I'm looking in my background. If you're watching on YouTube, you see the Sapiens book behind me. My husband keeps trying to get me to read it. Apparently, it's an amazing book. So he keeps putting it there, which is so cute. It's like right there on my bookshelf. Um, but okay, so I recently, like literally like super recently, Monday, at the time of this airing, it will have been the past Monday. But Monday, I was one of those lucky people who had a jury duty summons and who actually had to show up. And so I go to jury duty, and I like literally had to go there in person, right? First of all, we all know, by the way, and any of you guys that are local, I'm going to give you the jury duty like short version because it's always good to know when you have to go in how things have changed, or maybe they haven't changed, but we just didn't know. So, of course, I know from experience, like the last time I was there was probably 8 years ago. So I remember from experience that it's like a very long day. Usually you get dismissed. That's been my experience. I usually get dismissed, but you go from like courtroom to courtroom and all of these things, and it's a whole long process. And, so that being said, I'm used to that. I knew that that was going to be the case. And thank goodness my mother had just had jury duty recently. So she kind of knew the ins and outs where she was like, they only let you take in, at least to my local facility. They only let you take in a plastic water bottle, and it has to be soft plastic. It can't be hard plastic. It cannot be colored water. I'm going to get to the point here, but I'm just telling you guys because you know what? I feel like this information is important to share in case any of you have to go. But yeah, it cannot be like soft. Well, we got a dog here at the house, but it can't be soft hard plastic. It has to be soft plastic, like the kinds of water bottles that come in bulk at Costco or Safeway or something. And you cannot have colored water, so no like vitamin water or any of that. It has to be legitimately like water. So my mom had brought like a canteen and they like took it from her, but they take it from you and they leave it inside the jury room that you first get there. So you get your stuff back. But she was like, I forgot to bring snacks for mine. Like I was so hungry. I didn't leave till 3. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to pack a little baggie of snacks of little, I bought these I recently bought these organic, gummies. I don't know. I'll have to like post them on Instagram and my stories because they're so freaking good. But anyways, I like brought those. I brought some power bar, like protein bar kind of things, and all of that stuff, right? Well, you're not allowed to bring snacks, anything. And I was wondering to myself, like as a nurse, right? I'm thinking like, what if there's like a diabetic in the group? I don't know how they would handle that. But literally, and then if you try to sneak it into the security area, they will take it from you and they'll like give you the choice to walk back to your car or throw it away. But when you're standing outside a courtroom that you might be going into, it's kind of like, oh my God, this might be, the case. So all of that to say, we were all hungry. We were all grumpy because they took away several people's water bottles and snacks and all of that good stuff. And you're sitting outside a courtroom forever, right? And you're waiting to see, like, am I going to go in? Do we not go in? Well, sure enough, there was a case happening that they were choosing a jury for. And so sure enough, it took them, I don't know, maybe an hour or something of us sitting out there. And then they took us straight into the room We went through security, and then we went into the room, and we sat, in the audience area. And yeah, that's all I can say. But anyways, it just was crazy. And there was so much more that happened to me personally after that, where I was selected for so many more things. And I cannot finish talking about that at this time, but I was put on the actual jury. And so that was just insane. I am like, oh my God, I think I need to buy a lotto ticket, because apparently the chances of that are super slim. So while I was waiting in line to enter the courtroom. So while we're waiting, there was like a long, long line of us that walk from that first jury room where they play you the video and tell you the rules until you get into the courtroom. And so there was a huge long line of us waiting to go through security to get inside the courtroom. And I cannot tell you how much anxiety I had. I'm naturally an anxious person. I'm also diagnosed with depression. And so as part of my depression, there's a component of anxiety that comes through. So I'm diagnosed as depression with anxiety. And oh my goodness, my anxiety was through the roof. And I don't know why. I think that that's just a supernatural occurrence, unless you've kind of been through these things multiple times. I think it's just an anxiety provoking situation, because you don't know, like, am I going to be called? Am I not going to be called? Am I actually going to go in? Is this going to kind of take, is this going to take months? Like, am I going to be doing this for months? Am I going to get excused today? And all these things. And if you've been watching my Instagram stories, there's been a lot going on with my dog. So I'm just kind of thinking through my mind all of these things. Will I get to go home today to her? Will I need to set up somebody to see her? What am I doing, right? And all of these thoughts running through your head. You're wondering, am I going to be getting paid if I actually have to do this? Or even the jury selection process. Apparently, if you haven't been in this yet, I mean, that can take days as well. So even if you're sitting in the audience and you're not part of the jury box, that can take days. And all of this is from my layperson perspective, by the way. Like, I should probably put a disclaimer, since I'm talking about our legal system, that this is just my experience and it's not even what the episode's about. But this is just kind of my perspective and the things that I have witnessed and gone through. But anyways. So, you're thinking all of this in your head. Is this going to take days? Am I going to be here for days? Like, what's going to happen to me? And so, all this anxiety comes through. Am I getting paid for this? Am I getting paid for today? I've heard rumors like that the, county or state or whatever pays you like $15 a day to be there. But then I'm thinking, like, obviously that doesn't equate my 12 hours as a nurse that I'm missing. So am I going to pick up a shift? Like, so much is going through your head. And all of this anxiety that I'm having of just like everything I just said, right? And the anxiety of, am I going to get chosen or not, just continues to come up. Am I going to be here all day? Am I going to get chosen? These things are very scary for me because, like I just said, as a layperson in this sense, I have no idea about the legal system. I never done these things before. I've been to like jury duty like once and was dismissed. So, I mean, I just got very anxious. I don't like these kinds of places. I don't like these very proper types of places. They kind of freak me out. And so I'm just like, what's going to happen? And just, again, just so much anxiety. I wish I could explain it better, but it was just like the palms are sweaty, like the soles of my feet are sweaty. I was like, oh my God, I'm so anxious about this. And then it was so crazy. And this is what I want to talk to you about, is like a wave came over me of complete calmness. And literally, I hear, it's already chosen. It's already determined. And I was like, oh my gosh. And this thought of something that I think a lot of us have heard before, especially if you're into spirituality and all of that, we kind of know, or even if you're religious, actually, but you kind of know that there's a path already laid out, in a sense, for you. And all we have to do is play in it and try to enjoy the moments as best we can. I cannot change my fate in a way. I cannot tempt, the universe. I can't tilt the scales. I can't play God, right? And I know that so many of us talk about that and like putting it into actual practice and actually thinking about that clearly in my situation that day was a whole other level of realizing that I have no control over this situation. I have no control over whether I'm going to get chosen, not chosen, whether I'm going to enter this courtroom or go home to my dog and my husband. I don't know what's going to happen. And so it was so interesting though. It changed from anxiety to pure calmness, where I was just like, okay, I have no control over this situation, and my fate has likely already been decided. They actually pull these the polls of potential jury select, whatever they call it. I'm not gonna um, know the proper names at this point, but the potential jurors, I guess, they collect these pools of people 2 years, up to 2 years in advance, is what I was told by somebody. So whether that's true or not, but that's what I was told. But I mean, that being said, it's like it's already been decided. It was decided, somehow randomly through a computer system. I mean, over a year ago, at least, that I was going to be here today, right? If this was just randomly decided that this week was my week to have jury duty. All of these things. And so it kind of just clicked for me where it was like, it's in the plan of the universe. This is already happening. And I know we use that term a lot of it's happening for us, not to us. And so that was very interesting as well, because I kind of started thinking about that. And I was like, you know what? My path in life is, for the most part, kind of chosen. And it's happening for me. And it's going to unfold the way that it's going to unfold, whether you believe in God specifically or, different deities, or maybe it's just, the universe in general, or whether you believe that you have choice. In this exact situation, I had no choice. And whether it was the universe or it was a lottery system from a computer device or whatever it was that you want to believe it was, that's what chose me. And I had no control over that fact. I, of course, had control on different things that would lay out, later that might have changed my path. But in that moment, there was nothing I could do to change anything. It wasn't my decision. It wasn't my choice whether I entered that courtroom or not. And I just want to like bring this point home to you with this real life example, because I want you to see how this happens. And so often when we're very anxious about a situation, or we want to tip the scales, or we want to change things, I want you to remember the fact that you just can't change it, and that that's okay, because there will be a path for you that's going to make sense when we're looking back. And I know that that's a famous like Steve Jobs quote, and I've heard it so many times and said so many different ways, but when you connect the dots and when you're looking back and you're connecting all of the dots, it always makes sense. But in the moment looking forward, it doesn't always make sense to us. But again, that feeling of calmness that I had, that just this is planned for me, this is already in the works, I can't do anything about this, I have no control over it. It just gave me such peace to just know, okay, well, almost like the burden was lifted, where it was like, I don't have to make these hard decisions right now. I don't get to, even if I wanted to. I don't get to decide my fate in this circumstance. I don't get to decide my life path in this circumstance, because everything happening around me that I don't have control over is what's changing that and is what's going to be fixing that, right? For me, it's happening for me. So instead of spending my time worrying about every detail and every part and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to fix things and all of that, it's like I get to just play. I get to just be myself and play in this beautiful environment that the universe has created for me. So right there in line waiting to enter, it was like, okay, no more worrying about that. Why am I wasting my brain space worrying about something I can't control and ruminating on this? Let's use my brain space for something else, right? And that makes the situation so much more fun and lighthearted and easy, where it was like, I did a couple things on my phone, connecting with different people through social media instead during that time, where I kind of pivoted and did that instead. And that made my day so much better, and I had so much fun connecting and doing those things. And I didn't have to worry anymore because it was decided for me and I didn't have control. So I hope that you take this story, as long-winded as it was, I want to share every piece of it just so that I can share with you the happenings, right? And the thoughts that I had, because I hope that you will take it and apply it into your life. And obviously there are situations where we do get to decide something and we do have control over things, and that's amazing. And we get to do that. But I hope that you look at those situations where you don't have control over it a little bit easier and think about it a little bit differently, as far as let go. If we don't have control over the situation, if we can't do anything about it, let go. Take your hands, maybe not off the wheel, but let's just throw our hands up for a second, and let's just like let the universe or whatever you believe in just, carry out the plan that's already been written for you. It's already been written. It's already been decided. When we don't have control, it's for a reason. And instead of still ruminating on something that we cannot control, switch it over, pivot in that moment into having fun in this beautiful life that the universe has created for you. And just know that, as cheesy as it is to say, those couple of things where, it's happening for you, not to you, and that the dots will connect when we are looking back, just remember those couple things for yourself, because it's so true. Okay, well, I love you. I hope that this episode resonated with you. If it did, please, please, please send me a DM. Let me know. I'm looking, of course, I'm always kind of looking at the stats, like which episodes are hitting a little bit better. You can see that in your stats because more people are downloading those. But also, I want to hear just from you directly in the DMs. Which episodes do you like a little bit better? Because I want to bring the things to you that you like, the things that you're getting value from. I want to bring more of that to you, of course. So let me know that stuff. Also, if you screenshot this episode, throw it into your stories on social media, tag me at Hello Audrey Rose, tag a couple friends. Help me please get the message out, because I could use your help getting the message out, telling everybody these things, because I believe so much in my mission of teaching every single woman out there that she is worthy, that she deserves to love herself, that now is the time to love herself. And it's just time, right? So I appreciate your help so much in getting that message out. You can make it super fun. It's always a fun time to be able to talk to many people and just tell them about this that you've learned, or tell them about this message and share this with them and just have fun with it. So I appreciate you again so much. I hope you have a blessed and beautiful week.